Welcome to NFL World, where NFL starts and ends. I'm your host, Jacob. And before we preview what happens in Week 15, before we recap what happens in Week 14, before we even get to the Philip Rivers news, which I didn't believe I was going to say in 2025, we have a little announcement we're going to make. We're going to do a subscriber challenge. I've seen a lot of you who watch these videos are not subscribed. So let's change that. Let's get to 100 subscribers before Christmas. I think we can do this. I think it's possible. Look, we're 15 away. That's all we need. I think we can do that today. Well, let's make this happen. Let's do it before Christmas. Please and thank you. All right, let's recap what happened on Monday Night Football between the Eagles and Chargers. This game was sloppy. Everyone knew that. You watched the game, you could see it. So many turnovers. But before we get there, one touchdown by each team, the rest were field goals. This game goes into overtime. Cameron Dicker, the Chargers field goal kicker, makes his field goal on the first drive of overtime. The Eagles are driving. It's 3rd and 16. Jalen Hurts completes a pass to convert on third down to Devontae Smith. He threw it over the middle, which is something he does not do. He does not throw the football over the middle. I don't know why. He just doesn't do it. We'll get back into that in a little bit. As the Eagles are driving, it's first down. They've been running this play where they have like a post/sail route to it with the receiver. Then the tight end kind of goes like 3 yards and then basically runs an out. And they were hitting play down after down after down. Hurts makes the wrong decision. He throws it to Jahan Dotson, who's running the sail route, and it gets intercepted by Tony Jefferson. That was 1 of 5 turnovers for the Eagles, 4 of which were interceptions. 2 of those turnovers, by the way, 2 of the 5 turnovers happened on the same play. Hurts throws an interception. He doesn't see one of the defenders drop out, intercept the ball. There's a fumble. The intercepting player fumbles. It's recovered by Jalen Hurts. He fumbles. It's recovered by another player of the Chargers. It was a crazy play. What I'm telling you is this game, it felt drunk. It felt drunk. Let's first begin with this Eagles offense. They are, and this was according to PTI. I was watching PTI yesterday, and they said the Eagles are one of 2 teams this year to have less than 8 touchdowns in a span of a few weeks. And I was like, okay, how many weeks? They said 3 to 4 weeks. There's only been 8 touchdowns they've had. So that means they average 2 touchdowns a week. The only other team this season that has done that in the same amount of time is the Raiders, who they face on Sunday. It's not been a great offense. Their defense played great. They got after Justin Herbert 7 times. They pressured him 68% of the time, which is most by far of any quarterback in terms of pressure. It was unbelievable. And yet this Eagles offense couldn't score. Another thing that was shown, it was on Pro Football Talk. It was on Chris Sims' podcast. They all said the same thing. Jalen Hurts, when he went against 2 high safeties, which is 2 safeties in the back of the defense, was, I believe, 6 of 15 with 2 interceptions and only a total of 99 yards. He could not play it. When they were against single high safety, which is 1 safety in the middle of the field and another safety rolled down, he was explosive. He was awesome. He had over 100. I think it was close to 200 yards. It was like 199, to be honest with you. They were able to run the football. They had over 122 yards on the ground from Saquon just from Saquon alone. But the thing is, when you can't run the football the way the Eagles were last year, teams aren't afraid, so they keep playing that two high safety coverage, knowing that Jalen Hurts is not going to throw the ball over the middle. A.J. Brown had nearly 100 yards for the third consecutive game, and they didn't win. He got targeted 13 times. He dropped 2. It's on again, on again, on again. It happens over and over and over again. They missed a field goal, and that was basically the decider. It's over and over and over again watching this team. And you got to give credit to the Chargers. What they did defensively, you got to give credit to that secondary, to that defense as a whole, to their defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter, who's done an outstanding job. Justin Herbert, who had screws in a plate put in his hand last Monday, played this Monday after practicing the whole week and was their leading rusher. That was insane to watch. He got beat up in this game. He got beat up, and he made play after play. When they needed it, he was making plays. It was not a pretty game for the Chargers. No way. But you won. You won, and you needed this game to keep up with the Denver Broncos because you're the only team in the AFC West that can keep up with them. The Raiders have been awful all year. The Chiefs have been a disappointment the whole season. You're the only team that can keep up with them. So you needed this win to keep up in the race. The Eagles, you're probably going to win the division anyway. To be honest, you're probably going to win the division anyway. Having said that, why chance it? Why not just end it that day? Now you have to go. You have 4 games left. You have to play the Raiders. You have to play the Commanders twice, and you have to play the Bills. You think you could win those games? I'm not 100% certain this offense can produce enough. I think we'll have to wait and see, but if they don't beat the Raiders by a lot, or they don't show something of an offense, of pulse, I would be disturbed. I would be really disturbed from this offense and from the Eagles as a whole. Let's move to the Philip Rivers news. This news, okay, we talked about the Daniel Jones injury on Monday and how it's going to end his season, who could be the quarterback. And we all thought, okay, maybe it's Riley Leonard. Turns out he's also injured. He strained a knee ligament, and he's considered week to week. So it was Brett Whippen who was on the practice squad. That was it. They had to put Charvarius Ward on injured reserve, so he's gone for the year. Oh, for that, yeah, probably the rest of the year, I would say. But then it was kind of insane, to be honest with you. I don't know how else to describe what happened. Because we're on Monday Night Football. Everyone's doing, like, Scott Van Pelt's doing Monday Night Football. There's Ryan Clark, there's Troy Aikman, there's Marcus Spears. Schefter was somewhere, but he wasn't at the stadium. He was somewhere, though. He comes on and he says, the Chargers, this is what's happened. They ended Daniel Jones' season. This is what's happened. And then he said, they are also working out Philip Rivers. Now, granted, Philip Rivers has not played football in 5 years. You have to go back to the COVID days. Back to 2020. You have to go all the way back there. Jeff Saturday was his coach the last year he was there. That was how crazy this got. And it's over and over and over again. He was a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame. He's coming out of retirement. He's obviously a capable guy, but he hasn't played in 5 years. He's 44, like I said. He's also a grandpa. I believe this is the first and only time the grandpa has played in the NFL. It's wild. It's wild. Is this more for ticket sales, or is this more for a chance to finish the year? Is this more for potentially an opportunity? Who knows? But I'll tell you this. If Philip Rivers comes off the couch 5 years after retirement, coaching football in high school, coming back and plays well, after not knowing any of these people, Jonathan Taylor, I don't know if he knows really anyone else on the roster. DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart were there, so he knows them. But I think everybody else is new. So I don't think he has anyone's names down. But he got signed to the practice squad. Is he going to be a starter? We'll see. We'll see. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. He got the job. He got signed because he knows Shane Steichen. They were together when the San Diego Chargers were there. That's how long ago this was. He had many jobs on that offense, so he trusts Philip. He trusts Philip Rivers. Maybe he has something left. This is a good team if they can just get something good out of Philip Rivers. He's not a mobile quarterback. He never has been. Don't ever expect him to be. But maybe he can do something. Maybe he can help guide this team. At least for the rest of the year, anyway. Maybe that happens. But it's a wild time to be alive. We're talking about Philip Rivers coming back, unretiring in the NFL at age 44, which has never been done. He's doing this in 2025. That's a strange sign. He also did the workout and the signing on his birthday. He turned 44 on Monday. So I don't know if he can still play, but let's see what happens. Maybe there's some spark from the old man. He'll be the oldest player by far, by the way, because Aaron Rodgers and Matt Prater were tied for that, and they're 42. So he's the oldest by about 2 years. But let's move on to Week 15 between the Ravens and the Bengals. Bengals are getting plus 2.5. I don't know why they're getting plus 2.5. They should be favored, the Bengals. They beat this team, this Ravens team. And this Ravens team has been awful against good teams. Awful. I'm not saying the Bengals are great, but they took the Bills to the limit until the very end. They were opportunistic. They got after Josh Allen a little bit. They made some plays. If they have the same performance, I don't know what the Ravens are going to do. The Ravens have been so bad. Give me the Bengals. I don't trust the Ravens right now. I can't. Lamar looks bad. The run game, they're not running the ball with Derrick Henry at all. The defense is a disaster. Joe Burrow lit this defense up not even a week ago. He can, a little over a week ago, he lit this thing up. He lit this thing up like a Christmas tree. He's going to do it again. Give me the Bengals to win. It's going to be by a lot. 31-14. Moving on to the Bills and Patriots. Patriots plus 1.5 coming off the bye week. Look, this Bills team, the last time these two teams played, it was sloppy. It was a disaster. It's going to be cold. Now, if I'm in the Bills, you need to avenge that loss. Because that's the one thing the Patriots are holding over you. The record and that loss. You can't afford to lose to them. Not again. The Patriots defense has been really good. I like their defense. I like what they've been doing. I don't trust this Bills offense. You got back in the game because the Bengals made 2 really bad plays. That's how you go back in that game. Because you weren't going to win. I don't like this I don't like this Bills offense. I don't like it that much. And their defense has not been great. Outside of those 2 plays, those 2 interceptions they got, they haven't really done much of anything. But I do like that Josh Allen, James Cook have played really well. So with all that being said, I'm still going to take the Patriots to win, but I think it's going to be closer. Patriots win in a nail-biter, 31-28. Moving on to the Chargers and the Chiefs. Chiefs have hit by 4.5. Chiefs have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose. They're 6-7. They can't win their division, so that streak is done at 9 years. 9 straight years, I should say. They can't do anything right on offense. The last time these two teams played was week 1 on that Friday. Remember that game in Brazil? And the Chargers won that game. I think it's going to be the same feat, to be honest with you. I don't like this Chiefs team. Potentially no Trent McDuffie. We'll see how they play. I don't think the Chargers have been great. Their offensive line is really banged up, but they just keep finding ways to win games. Give me the Chargers in this game because I just don't like this Chiefs offense. I think it's a disaster. They're awful. They can't really get pressure as a defense, but on offense, they make too many mistakes. They turn the ball over too many times. It feels like we say this a lot. It's this so-and-so quarterback. Save this team. Save them. It's what it feels like all the time. All the time. Save us because we can't win unless you play great. That's what this Chiefs team has been doing all year long. And they've done it for the last year and a half. It's Patrick, save us. Mahomes, save us. We can't do it. That's what this is. They can't do it. Give me the Chargers. They win this game. That's going to be strange. It's going to be very strange. My score is 24-14. Moving on to the Raiders at the Eagles. Eagles favored by 11.5. We said during the recap of the Chargers and Eagles game that if the Eagles did not win by a lot, we would have questions. I think we're going to have questions. I do think the Eagles win. I think the Raiders cover. Because the Raiders, whomever the quarterback is, I don't think it's going to be Geno Smith. It looks like it's going to be Kenny Pickett, but who knows? I think that's going to cause issues for the Eagles. I just don't like what they do. I don't like what they do. I think it's going to be hard to figure that out. I know this Raiders offensive line has been awful. I know this defense of the Raiders has been awful. But this Eagles team offensively is really bad. If the Raiders make this a game, or even win the game, everyone's looking at the Eagles like, what is happening? What is happening? Like, what is happening? This Chiefs team is not very good. This Eagles team is banged up. They just lost to the Raiders. What happened? That's what it would be like. You can't afford to lose. And you have to, and my reason of they have to win by a lot is more of they have to show that this offense can work. Because if it can't, whoever it is, whoever the offensive coordinator is, right now it's Kevin Patullo, but whoever's calling the plays has to figure that out. If you can't beat the Raiders, it's not going to work. Period. Because Dallas should have been dead weeks ago, and they're around somehow. This Eagles team was leading the conference a couple weeks ago. They're at risk of losing their division because they keep playing this way. They got to figure it out. We mentioned Raiders, Commanders twice, Bills. That's who they have. That's very winnable games, especially with the way the Bills defense play. If you can't show you can beat the Raiders, then I would be very concerned. I would be very concerned, and heads better roll at that point because you can't win. If that happens, you will not win. Period. Give me the Eagles to win. I don't trust the Raiders. Whomever the quarterback is, whether it's Kenny Pickett, whether it's Geno Smith, whomever. I don't care. You could bring Kenny Stabler back at this point. It doesn't matter. This team is awful. Give me the Eagles to win. But if they don't, that we're definitely going to come on Monday's show and we're going to have a very lengthy talk of this Eagles team. A very lengthy talk. But give me the Eagles to win. I do think it's going to be very close, though. 28-24. Moving on to the Lions at the Rams. Rams are favored by 5.5. Rams got back on track to beat Arizona. Lions, they got back on track. They beat the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night. It's going to be a fun matchup. I really like this matchup. I give the edge to the Rams on this because of I trust them more of an offense than I trust the Lions. And the Lions defense has given up a lot of points. They're good, but can they somehow figure it out? The Lions also have to keep pace because they are on the outside looking in the meantime. Like, yes, they beat the Bears, and they have to play the Bears in a couple weeks. But the Niners are now the 6th seed. If you lose this game, you're basically hoping that Green Bay beats the Bears again and that you can beat the Bears. That's what you're hoping. You can't afford for that to happen. You can't let that happen. You also can't allow Carolina to take over where you are. That's something you also can't allow to happen. But I think it will. I think the Rams are just too good. All the weapons they have, Devontae Adams, the trio of tight ends, Puka Nacua, the run game they have. The Lions are going to be really good, and it's going to be an interesting battle. But give me the Rams in a much-needed game for the Rams. They have to extend this lead over Seattle. It's neck and neck right now. They need this game. Give me the Rams to win. Let's see. 28-20. And our final game is the Minnesota Vikings versus the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 5.5. Look, you need this game if you're the Cowboys. The Vikings aren't playing really for anything. The Cowboys are. You're fighting for your playoff life because you statistically still have a chance to make it. Statistically. But you're betting on the misfortune of the Eagles, and then you have to win. Because you're a game and a half back. Let me explain how this works. When you're a game and a half back, what happens is if you lose but the Eagles win, that goes up a game. That's how that works. But if you win and the Eagles lose, it goes down. So basically what I'm saying is if you win, no matter what the Eagles do, you would get it to about a game. A game. If the Eagles lost, it would be a half a game. You would love this to be a half a game heading into week 16. You would love that. You have 3 games to go. If the loss to the Raiders, you're pretty confident you're going to lose another game. And then you feel like, okay, yeah, we can win. We can win our games. So that's what you're balancing. This is a balancing act. The Vikings have not been very good. They beat the Commanders. They beat them by a lot. They shut them out. I don't think they can shut out the Cowboys. Will CeeDee Lamb play? Who knows? But I'm curious to see what happens. I think it's going to be a hard time. I think this offense is going to have a bounce back game. I think the defense is going to play a lot better because I don't think this offense of the Vikings is very good. You just can't make mistakes. Don't make mistakes. Limit the run game. Force JJ McCarthy to throw the football. He has not been very accurate this year. Force him to throw the football. With all that being said, give me the Cowboys to win in a big-time game. 28-7. Let me know in the comments who you have winning this week. And also, are you surprised, like I was, that Philip Rivers is unretiring at age 44? For NFL World, I'm Jacob Heber.